Are you ready to make one of these gorgeous felt stockings, the ones with the sequins and the beads? Well, let me show you my favorite so far. In this video, I'd like to introduce you to my favorite Bucilla felt stocking kit so far. It has some of the greatest details that I've ever seen and that I really enjoyed working on. But there are a few things you need to know before you get started. So we'll also have two tutorials in this video. One about how to do the satin stitch on felt stocking kits, and the other one on how to do French knots. There are a lot of French knots in this kit, so you will be a pro when you're done. Here is the kit. It is called Santa's Catnap, and it is just darling. My favorite pieces that I think I like about this are the ruffle around the ottoman and around the bottom of the chair. It just looks so cool, so fun, so puffy and fluffy. And I do love his quilt, Santa's quilt. So it's a great kit. It is probably the most expensive kit I have purchased because it is almost $30, but I felt it was well worth it, and I could not wait to begin. So as you may know from me in the past, I like to know how many bits there are in each kit. So this kit has 120 pieces, and that does include all the little pieces that go onto the quilt. The back and the front are both red, which is really worked out to be quite nice. Made it a little bit easier because when I was stitching the back to the front, you just use red and the stitches don't show on either side, so that's great. If you watch very carefully as I'm handling this red backing fabric, actually it's felt, you can see as I move it around that you can see through it. I have never had felt come in a kit that was, especially the front or the back pieces, that were so light, so see-through, and I really had great concern about whether they were going to be sturdy enough to support all of the pieces that were going to be added to this stocking. So my solution to that was to back each piece, both the front of the stocking and the back of the stocking, with some iron-on interfacing or Pell-on to give it some support and to help it be sturdy. Another issue I had with this kit was both on the red and some of the places on the blue. The markings, you can barely see them on this felt. They were so light that it was very difficult to see. I did get myself a different light to use when I was working on it, and it did help quite a bit. You can see here that I've begun to applique the tree and the holly leaves and the sequins that just kind of make up the background up at the top. There is space left for a name. It's not a lot, but if it's not enough, I'm certain I could always remove a sequin or two if necessary. There's lots of little holly leaves at the top, and each one of those get a fair amount of embroidery on them, you can see. But those are fun. I like doing leaves and little holly berries. And then the tree has got some green sequins on it that give it just some glitter, as well as the white sequins for the garland. It is all stuffed very slightly and then stitched down onto the stocking. Now we're ready to go with the next piece. Here's a little bit more done, working on the chair. The first ruffle on the chair is applied, and some of the sequins, just finishing stitching it down. It does get a little bit of stuffing there. Now we've got Santa going. He's sitting on the chair, at least part of him is, and we're getting ready to apply the satin stitch to his beard. As you can see, most of him's there, if you have to use your imagination to fill in the blanks here. but he is coming. He's coming. So here is the satin stitch. We're going to be using 2 strands of black thread. This is to begin his mouth, and that's for kind of the down inside. And for the satin stitch, you are going to be filling in completely the space that's indicated. So here it's going to be in the middle of his mouth. And you pick about the center and start there, and you're going to go in. And in this case, I'm going all the way around because there isn't an edge to stitch down into. It needs to go right up all the way to the end. Now my next stitch is going to go in as close to the first one as possible, but sticking to just over the line so that I cover up the black lines that are indicating where this stitch is going to go. And I'm going to keep going, keeping my stitches really tight next to the other. And in this case, going all the way around his beard. Once I finish on that one side, then I'm going to jump across on the back side, of course, to the other side and finish that. Going from the center to the outside helps you to keep your stitches consistent. It's very difficult to keep your stitches consistent, to go from a small edge, get larger, and then go back up to small again. So this helps you with starting in the center with kind of this larger piece and moving to the outside and then doing the same process again. So you can see this is very filled in, it's very tight. You don't see any of the white felt in between. Now here we're going to use 2 strands of the red floss, and this is for the outer part of his lips, for his mouth. And it's very important that when you're putting satin stitch right next to another satin stitch, that you're always coming up on the outside and going down where it is next to the stitch. Otherwise it's all the same. Start in the center, work your way to the outside, and keep your stitches very tight and close, but always going down in the spot where the stitches meet. You can see Santa is complete and he is resting in his chair. We're working on the cuffs to his pants. Even though he's going to have a quilt over the top of him sleeping, he still has many details in his pants, just in case you choose to pull that quilt off or not use the quilt. You can see that we've added the teddy bear, the drum, a package is in Santa's bag, and the cute little kitten is at the top of his chair resting. There will be 2 more kittens or cats in this video, and as you can see, my cat felt it necessary to oversee the making of other cats to make sure that they were done in an appropriate cat way. So he's always the one who's in charge, as you might guess. Here the stocking is virtually finished. Santa's got all of his parts. His little kitten is up at the top. The 2 other cats are almost finished, but they are not applied to the stocking yet. You can see how glistening the sequins are and how puffy everything is. It's just really a great 3D kit. It's really just got a lot of texture and a lot of things that are just catch your attention and just draw you in to look at closer and to see the details. Now let's do our French knot tutorial. You can see I've made myself a little piece of felt here with some dots on it, and that's what you're going to see when it's time to make a French knot. I've got a piece of floss and it's 2 strands, and you're going to bring your needle up as close to the center of that dot as possible. Sometimes you have to try a couple times. Pull till you catch the knot. Then you're going to turn your hand as you hold the floss across your thumb and grab 2 winds around the needle. Now it's really important here to tighten the floss around the needle and to hold it as you draw that through. That keeps your French knot tight and not with any funny loops or I don't know, things. It just sometimes gets away from you if you don't do that. So let's try another one. Again, you're going to bring your needle up in the center of the dot where the French knot is indicated. Pull through until you feel the resistance. Grab onto that, hold that thread and wind around twice and turn and go back in the same spot that you came up. You need to hold that floss tight around the needle as you pull the thread through. You can see here I did get a little bit of a loop even though I did that. That's fine. It just gives your knot more texture. But again, come up through the center until you feel the resistance. Grab your thread and wind around twice and turn back so that you can go down in exactly the same space that you came up. Tighten the thread around your needle and hold it down as you pull that through. You can see you've got some pretty good French knots here. One more time, a little different angle. Again, you're going to begin by bringing your needle up in the center of that dot, as close to the center as you can get. Pull your needle all the way through till you feel that your thread is tight. Hold it and wind around your needle twice. Oops. 1, 2. Twist it and pull on the thread so you can go right back down in where you came. Keep that floss tight around your needle and hold it as you pull through. And you might even want to make yourself up a little piece of felt like this and put some ink dots on it and practice some of these French knots, because there are many French knots in this kit. A French knot is also something that you can see I'm getting short on thread here. You do have to make sure you have plenty of thread so that you can twist and go the different directions that you need to go and have enough room to hold it down as you pull through. But that's it. French knots, not hard.
Here he is. Santa and his kittens and his quilt are all finished, and he is resting up from a long, hard winter's trip on Christmas Eve. Although I don't think he's finished because he's got gifts in his bag. So please subscribe to our channel if this content is helpful to you and is enjoyable. We really appreciate that. Use our description or links in the description for anything you might need to purchase in order to make a stocking or a kit. It helps us a little bit, and we really appreciate it very much. And this stocking will be available in our Etsy shop and on our website. Links to both will be in the description as well. So if you are interested in purchasing this stocking, you can go there to do that. We hope you have a very blessed day and a really blessed and safe Christmas and holiday season this year. From Servant Crafts to your family, we wish you the best.